feel lost when I miss the first because then I don't get the grasp of the whole thing. But are you going to repost this for
Yeah.
us?
I'll send you an email in a little bit, and then you can just kind of watch what you missed. It'll get you up to speed.
Okay, and okay. Well, that's the only question I had. I
Hmm.
don't get this the whole video thing, but I mean, what you're talking about today, posting on Instagram Reels.
Yes.
So I don't know how much we have missed. I wish we had gotten the email earlier because I check my email in the mornings and then right about this time. So it's 1:30 in Arizona.
Got it.
See, it said it started at 3, so we don't know what time we're dealing with.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how many times we explicitly spell it out. I get time zones confused all the time too. They're just
Okay.
confusing.
Okay, but I'm going to stay with you as long as I can, but I wasn't planning on this, so I'm glad you're going to repost it
Yep.
because I'm interested in it.
Wonderful. And so what brought you to the session was you saw the thing about Instagram Reels. Is that right?
Yeah, the Instagram Reels because
Hmm.
I've you have spoken before, I believe. I haven't watched a lot of your stuff
Hmm.
because we've had lots of stuff going on.
Of course.
But you mentioned before about, or somebody else I saw. One of my friends sells handbags, and she's always has a reel going. On she posted on Facebook and
Yeah.
where she's showing each handbag, and they're from Italy and all that. She's selling handbags, and um, I heard or read that they're successful. They're
Hmm.
pretty successful. So I'm
Yes.
excited about that and interested in it. I'm currently do some art shows, but they've been bad because people are so afraid to purchase.
Hmm.
And I have things in a gallery. Same thing. People. I think people are hesitant to purchase right now, but I think that would enhance, my people's interest in my artwork if I can do this.
Yes.
But I don't know any. I'm not techy, and I don't know anything about it. So
You are
keep it
you are
simple,
not
right?
alone, Sherry. You are not alone. That is the majority of artists that are on this call right now.
Keep
Um,
it simple for us.
yes. I will indeed. I will indeed. And I'll send you to. I just did a previous session, a previous live recording thing. There was a deep dive on Reels, but they're very
Oh,
exciting for what they are, for what they do.
okay.
You might want to find that and throw that in the chat. It's whatever the last. It would have been a Facebook Live or search YouTube for it. It would have been one of the last couple of lives. But it was really good, so that'll help. But that's all good, Cherry. We'll email you after the fact.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, Bernardo's got an interesting question in the chat, and I'm going to unmute you, Bernardo, in case you want to follow up on this thing. But it's like, this sounds like a full-time job. When do we make our art? My art is labor-intensive, takes a lot of time. Totally understand that, Bernardo, but you also have to sell the art. And if you can't sell the art, it's not a business, it's a hobby. And that's the long and the short of it. So I don't know how you've gone about selling your art up till now, but I would argue that if you want to build the business, you actually have to work on the business. And if I told, 39 out of the 40 people that are on this call right now, 39 out of 40, if I ask them what their deepest, darkest secret is, not deepest, darkest secret, it's a weird way to say it, but their deepest desire is, it is to just create the work and have somebody else handle all the sales and marketing and have it equate into this big business that's paying them every single solitary year. That is what we call in the trades a fantasy. It does not happen that way. If that's what you guys want, that is a hobby. It is available. It is on offer, right? Sadly, that's just not the way the world works. Certainly not the one that we live in. If you want a art business to grow, if you want an art business to grow year over year, you have to work on the business side of it. You have to work on the marketing side of it, and that is the only way that it's going to grow and that it's going to get to where you want it to be. And sadly, that's just the truth. Um, I know it would be a whole lot cooler if that's not the case, but that's absolutely how it goes. But who else, guys? Questions? Oh, Mitzi, game on, and then I'll get you two. Like, go ahead, Mitzi.
Um, my question is pretty basic. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, does this require an investment on my part,
Uh,
or is it a commission kind of thing?
no, yeah, it's not a commission kind of thing. It definitely requires an investment on your part. And to be honest with you, none of the commission things that exist, period, work in the slightest. None of them. Galleries included, for the most part, because what do? They take your art. Yeah, if I can sell it, I'll pay you a commission, and then I'm not going to tell you who purchased it, so you can't market to that person in perpetuity, and then I'm going to take 50% of what the purchase price was. Not sustainable. Not a path to a real business. Not for any meaningful number of artists. And so you kind of have to get that out of your head that will ever work. It won't. You really have to be able to sell the work direct yourself. You have to be able to market consistently. You don't need us to do any of the above, but that's what we do. That's what we empower. That's what we teach all year long.
Okay. Now that you said yes, it does require investment.
Mm-hmm.
Do you talk about what the investment actually is?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So the way that we work, the box that we get putting into, and it's an okay box we putting in. I mean, it's how we started the business. At first, we were just a website solution. We had this awesome website that was the best website out there and still is to sell art and photography. And while that's well and good, none of you guys actually have a website problem. You all have a marketing problem. So we had this amazing website, and what we didn't have was a ton of amazing customers and successful customers because we didn't fix the problem. And the problem you guys all have is a marketing problem. How to get more eyeballs, okay, to your art and how to grow that year after year. So what we are really these days is, yeah, we're a website solution, but the other part is, the easiest way to think of it is we're a postgraduate university that teaches art and business marketing. That's what we do. It's the closest thing that you can think of. And there's everything that you would think of within a university. There's different professors and different classes, and there's office hours, and there's reading through textbooks that you need to do on your own. And then there's support groups and just support of every kind. And that is how we create successful artists and photographers. And it is a grind. It's week in, week out work. And that's what you pay us to do. So kind of like signing up for a website, there's a monthly fee. And there's a monthly fee. Kind of like going to a university, there's a tuition fee that you pay one time. So that's how we charge, and that's what we do. And plans start at $9.99, the one-time fee to get into the university, and then the monthly website fee varies a little bit depending on which platform you're on. But independent of us, because we're certainly not the cheapest solution in town, if you don't fix the marketing problem, you will never be successful. And that's if I can give you one takeaway, whether you're in any position or ready to now, what artists and photographers have done for years and years and years is go from one website solution to a marketplace to trying a gallery to another website solution. Maybe they went to Etsy, and none of it worked for a reason because you didn't fix the main problem, right? It's like you have one giant hole in your boat and everyone runs around trying to fix the little pinhole. It's like, no, you have a giant hole in your boat, and it's you don't fix the marketing problem, the business doesn't grow. So that's what I would say. Mitzi's like, damn it all, that's not the answer I wanted. I know.
No,
Oh, okay.
that's exactly the answer I wanted.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, you have to be straight up on these things. It's quite literally why we exist. Matt, I really love these questions. I'm going to unmute Matt, so hopefully he has some follow-ups on this. Matt, are you down to talk so that you can ask the question specifically so other people can hear it, or I could potentially read it out?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I sure can.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm really familiar with most of the things that you're talking about in terms of just how to leverage your audience. I mean, because really that's ultimately what you're talking about. Yes, you have to put your face out there. Yes, you have to put your work out there. But if you don't have the audience base that's tuning in to then purchase the art, it's sort of like
chicken and egg. Yeah.
You're kind of doing it for yourself and your mom and your sister,
So true. Yeah.
So, I mean, I like the individuals that you chose to feature. But of course I mean, if they have a 200,000 person email list, or if their social channels have 200,000 followers, I mean, that's very different than like an artist who would have, 500 to 2,000 followers, So, I mean, I understand why you featured them, but I mean, were those large factors that played into the environment that made their live video selling techniques like successful,
Yep. Very good question. The long and the short of it is you need to have like what we call an MVP, a minimum viable audience or an MVA, I should say, minimum viable audience, to be able to start selling art and be successful at it. And it's not a huge one to begin with. There's people that we have that are over six figures that have less than 5,000 people on Instagram. But there's no magical number that email subscribers plus Instagram followers plus Facebook fans that automatically and consistently pencils to any one like revenue expectation. That's number one. So everybody just starts with what they start with, and the goal is just to continue generating more of that consistently year after year after year, and that's how you grow the business, right? That's number one. Number two, the funny thing about the live art shows that everybody gets wrong, that's never run one or doesn't have any experience with them, is given the paradigm of like art show, instantaneously in everyone's head, they instantaneously think like, oh, this is just like a gallery show where I have to like hype it all up, and it's all about who shows up the night of for anything to sell, and nothing could be further from the truth. The whole thing as a marketing endeavor, if you like, is built up on all these various different steps. It's what you do before the show even starts. It's what you do, yes, during the show, and it's what you do, yes, after the show. And every little step along the way, all the emails, all the everything that we have you do, all plays a role in how well the show is. And so to use your earlier statement, it doesn't matter if just your mom is on watching live. It's what happens before. Everyone gets an email. Here, everything's on sale. Go take a look, and then everything that happens after the fact too. And so we've seen like pretty amazing levels of success at like every part of the stack. And I mean, from selling, 1,500, 2,000 to selling 10,000 to selling everything in between. And, on the video, I show, some portion of them when I made that video a while ago. I mean, since then, and I'm trying to pull it up. Let's see if my screen share cooperates this time around. Okay. Let's see. This should work. But just to show you, give you like a for instance on like the true width and breadth that we've actually taken this to at this juncture is staggering. I mean, the sheer amount of customers that I've gotten over the line to do this has been amazing, and almost all of them, have seen some level of success. And it doesn't matter what size you are. I gotta mute this, otherwise it'll be loud. Hold on. It doesn't matter what size you are or what portion of the country you're in or what your artistic interpretation is. And actually, is this Kelly, I think? I think is this her? Yeah. So perfect example, okay? She is absolutely killing it, right? Absolutely killing it. And I was looking at her Instagram today, so I might as well pull this up. Her name's Kelly Corbett, and she is I've got her here, right here already. Watch this. Boom. Let's go out of that, into that. Absolutely killing it. There's her Instagram profile. That's not daunting. It's not overwhelming. She had 6,700 followers. And by the way, you want to talk about reels? Why reels are so important? Look at some of the follower counts on her, or the view counts on some of her reels. Now, view counts are complete nonsense, right? Like, there's no button on the ATM machine for view counts. But what's interesting is why reels are so important is she's getting thousands and thousands and 10,000 views on some of these things, and yet she only has 6,000 followers. How is that possible? Well, that's what makes reels so awesome. They show reels to like, a bunch of people that are not your followers, which is like an incredibly, incredibly important thing. So it's less about follower count. Everyone starts where they start, Matt. Everyone starts with whatever level of attention you start with, but you can't let that get you down. They can't let you slow you down either. You just have to keep executing and keep growing the list. That's it. And to answer your second question, there's no magical time during the day or during the week. You do it when you can do it. And it's less about like, okay, what's going to happen on this first one? You don't worry about the first one. You try to do as many of them as you can. And that's the ball game. One of the other examples I love showing. Let me just pull this up too. And she's a good example, but also a bad example in some ways because she is. Let me just show who she is. So this is Carol here. Let me get this back up. So this is Carol, and her subject matter material are wild horses. Wild horses are a thing in the United States, and they're like a mega hot button topic right now because the wild horse, I don't want to go into the history, but the wild horses run around and jump ranchers' fences and screw up their land a little bit and this and that. And so the ranchers are like, yo, federal government, because it's BLM land, it's federal land, it's not like state land, so they can't go to their state. They're like, hey, federal government, kill all of these horses, okay? They're costing me all kinds of money. They're destroying my fences, my crops, da-da-da-da-da. And so the federal government is like started enacting these plans where they're going to start culling the horses. And so the horse people, as you can imagine, are fit to be tied about this. So look at Carol's results. First show, live show. This was March 24th of last year. $1,800, 6 pieces, right? 300 AOV is average order value, so $303 average piece price sold. Second show, June 21st. 6,600, 49 pieces sold, $136 average order value. Third show, 27,190, 119 pieces sold, $228. Now on this one, she partnered with like, the one of the biggest sanctuaries that's like, helping these horses, and so she got a ton of attention. But here she is back on her own again. $7,600 on a show, and I think she's run a couple of them since then. And you know, you start where you start, right? Like everyone's got their own like set of advantages and things that help them out and help them grow, and you just use what you have at your disposal and you just start executing it and getting better, you know?
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Don't let it stop you, Matt. Run one. Have you contemplated running one?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, I do this sort of not live. I've never tried the live situation. But I kind of leverage my social media in a way that can sometimes feel live. And it's been successful. So yeah, I mean, maybe it could be something that I try. Thank you.
So well, yeah, no problem. One of the things that I'm going to send you, so this is like what that page will look like, the replay page, now that my screen share is behaving. And what I have in here for you guys is how to run live art shows, a quick start guide, okay? And it's a super long blog post on all of the reasons why you need to be doing this and all the reasons why they work as well as they do. And I give you some real artists on here, their real social media followings, their real actual follower count, and then what they actually did on the show. And then like here's little teases of the show. And you can certainly Google these people if you're so inclined. Like I know Meg here, she did one on her own today. I don't know how well she did, but I saw on Instagram she had one earlier. And then once you get down to the very bottom of this thing, I've made a pretty awesome, just send me the guide, please. You don't even have to put your email in a box or anything. The whole thing's free. But I made you a quick start guide to running your first live art show, and I cover the equipment you need, inventory and pricing, how to get paid, where to stream the show, the actual show, how to announce the show, what to do after, plus some bonus content to help you get started. And I think there's some sample shows down here. Yeah, complete shows at the bottom. So you can watch how those folks did it. But should be helpful if you wanna jump into that deal.
Yeah, that's really helpful. Okay, thank you very much. Oh, actually, one last question,
Please.
if I could.
Yeah, go ahead.
Have any of these artists ever had anyone represent them?
Oh yeah, tons of them.
In a live, like in a live show, does it have to be the artist?
Oh. So doing the selling for them?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, a couple have like, the weird husband-wife tandem situation where one handles like the sales and the other one is just the artist. But it's always better if the artist is there. Always.
Gotcha.
Always. Like
that's my exact situation.
Yeah. But contemplate the real world example. Like opening night at a gallery, is the artist ever not there?
For sure.
Never. Never not there. You like the artist is such an important part of the brand in today's day and age. And I love going downstream of how the whole thing actually exists. And it's like, picture I just bought one of your pieces. Well, is it your pieces or is your wife's pieces?
So it's my wife, and I handle her marketing. Got
it. So let's just say that I bought one of your wife's pieces, and it's now like in my living room, and I have a big party, right? And everyone's checking out the piece, and they're like, "Oh man, that thing's cool." Where did you get that? What's your wife's first name?
Her name is Shanna.
Shanna. So I would say like, "Oh yeah, it's my friend Shanna Blakley. I know her pretty well." People like to flex too. Like they know the artist, right? Like it's like it's just a really, really important part of it. The do you know the artist? Do you feel like you have a relationship with them? So if she's terrified of being video, she's got to get over it. It reps and sets, sometimes white wine, whatever it takes, but you gotta you gotta do what it takes. You have to be contrarian about it. And like, look, I can hang my hat on this. Okay, I've been doing this for 7 years with this company, and until COVID hit, you did not see my face on video even once. Okay, I have a face for radio. I enjoyed doing podcasting, a bunch of audio stuff. My voice works just fine, but I hated being on video. But guess what? I got contrarian about it, and I saw the writing on the wall, right? So that's what you got to do.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And good luck. Because I know it's a battle. Yeah. Okay, Stefan looks like he's back. We'll see if he sorted his audio. Let's give it a shot again, Stefan. You can see. So hit that mic icon again, and we'll see whether or not it pulls you in. Otherwise, you might have to throw. Do we have you?
Can you hear me?
Oh, boom. Worked it out. I love it.
Oh,
good work.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. We got you. Go ahead.
Okay, so just a little background. I'm a complete beginner. I haven't sold anything.
Okay.
I have a website. I have a Facebook page. I have an Instagram page, but zero level of followers or attention so far. So that I'm just flat zero there. Now, a couple of questions. Number one, what if most of my images that I'd like to sell are just in digital form at this point?
Then
I
get
don't
prints.
have them physical form or frame. Can I still do a live show
No.
using digital images, or do I have to print them out first and frame them and so forth?
Let me ask you this. If I owned a knife business and I hired you to sell knives door to door for me, when you knocked on the doors, what would you have?
Not digital knives?
Not digital knives. You'd have to be a pretty damn good salesman if you had digital knives, or if you showed me a catalog of knives. I mean, you would have to be a really good salesman. Order prints. The good news is you don't have to show a 24 by 36, right? You can show you can show the tiny ones. Like I could show you an entire stack.
I could just print. I can just print them out small.
Yeah, print them out small. Look at this. Look at this amazing zoom on my camera to get into there in the detail and talk about beautiful Positano and the multi-coast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, one of the things is I'm particularly interested in doing in selling large pieces, but I get your point. You could show them on screen small.
Yep, you better believe it. But if you've never sold anything, you need to do a local fair show.
A local fair show?
Yeah, you do. You do. Sign up for one, pay whatever the booth fee is. It could be anything, by the way. It doesn't necessarily need to be like an art fair or a craft show or any of that kind of stuff. You could do it at a brewery. You could do it at a farmer's market. The idea is that you, in a table booth situation with your work, having conversations with strangers. Until you do that, you'll never, ever know whether or not the work will sell. And until you know the work will sell, you will never know whether or not you're wasting your time marketing.
Okay, and if I ultimately would like to sell large pieces, but for the sake of the fair show, I could just have smaller pieces. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Okay, that's good advice. I guess I have one more question, but I have a feeling that this is just an idea that I originally had that I'm basically just going to have to lose or disabuse myself of,
Mm-hmm.
But the original idea was that I wanted to do large pieces that would for commercial or corporate settings.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what we're talking about, is it? There's no way to reach those kinds of customers in the way we're talking about.
No, not at all.
Brokers,
not at all. Don't even worry about that. What you're telling me is like, I want my house to have a Dutch door that's painted light blue. I've always wanted a light blue door. And what I'm telling you, Stefan, is you don't have a house yet.
Okay, so
stop worrying about the door in the house. Buy the land, build the house, then worry about what color the door in the house is going to be.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. Today's problems for today. The only thing that matters, if you are doing something related to you growing this art business, you have to be able to ask yourself the question, is whatever I'm doing today going to allow me to, is going to get my art in front of strangers immediately such that I can sell it? If the answer to that question is no, you're working on the wrong thing.
Okay.
It's an important one. Yeah.
All right, thanks.
All right. Good luck, Stefan. Thank you. All right, who else, guys? Questions? I have to go into the gallery view. I don't know if anyone else was raising. Oh, yeah, Pamela. I forgot. Sorry. Gotcha. You're unmuted. You have to unmute, Pamela. There we go. Yep, I sure can. Gotcha.
Okay, good. I'm a Penn State graduate, marketing. I understand marketing. Just got into art. I'm in 2 galleries. I've sold a few things. I get it. It's a losing battle. There is no way you can pull up what they're trying to get you to do.
None.
So
it's the biggest lie. It's the biggest lie that's ever been told.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Unfortunately. Yes. So people that are into business, the numbers never play out. So I'm just kind of stuck on that first level of the pyramid, get attention.
Yes.
So, can you just run through
at a high level for you? Yes, absolutely. I can
get attention. We got Facebook, we've got Instagram Reels, we've got.
Yep. So at a high level, this is really what it comes down to. It comes down to you have to be capturing emails all year long. And there's a number of different ways to do that. There's online ways, there's offline ways, there's QR codes, there's print giveaways, all these various different things. But don't worry about that. Just stay at a high level. You have to be capturing emails all year long, growing your email list. In addition to that, you have to be emailing that list on a regular and consistent basis, which no one does. You have to be posting on the socials on a regular and consistent basis. When the time is right, you need to be having sales. And there's a ton of tradecraft that goes into a sale. How do you tease a sale? How do you announce a sale? How do you extend a sale? What do you do before, during, and after? What is the percentage discount? When is the best time of year to run them? What are the important ones to focus on? But you need to be running those throughout the year. Then the live art show component, I think, is critically important. And then most important in all of it is doing that consistently. What the majority of artists and photographers do when it applies to their marketing is they treat their marketing like the gym membership New Year's resolution at the beginning of the year. In January, they're going 4 days a week. By the time it starts getting cold late February, they've been once the entire month, and the party's over, and then rinse and repeat next year. So no one understands the power of doing it consistently and doing it consistently all year long. Everyone always asks me like the crystal ball question, like, how many hours a week am I going to have to put in to my marketing for this thing to be successful? There's no magic number, but all I know is if it's 5 hours a week, watch what happens when you give me 5 hours a week, 52 in a row. Watch what happens. Everything changes, right? Now you need to be working on the right stuff and know what that is, but you don't even necessarily need to sign up with us to do that. Just go and listen to my podcast. I've got like 60 episodes in there and you could get caught up binge listening. So that's what I would say you do, but that's what we teach all year long. I mean, we give our customers a calendar that tells you what to do 365 days a year. And, you know, you're running a sale now, you're doing this now, you're doing this now. Here's some language, here's some images, here's some everything else. And not even that's enough. We have to pair that with a combination of harassment, bribery, carrot, stick, encouragement, tech support, peer pressure. I mean, everything we have to keep people going and going consistently. But inevitably what happens is you're humming along, and then right about the point in time you're going to quit, you would have quit. Because our organization is what it is, we give you a little bump up, you keep going, and then all of a sudden you hit a level. And you're like, oh my gosh, I've had another level. This is amazing. I'm just now filled. My emotional reservoir is now full, and I'm going to execute on it for the next year. And it's just ding, 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 bit by bit. It's amazing.
Okay. So the way I find your podcast is just go to...
All you have to do is just search the Art Marketing Podcast anywhere. It's everywhere. It's on Stitcher and Spotify, and I mean, I don't even need to go through them. On iTunes, every single solitary one of them. Literally on all of them, 100% of them. But you marketers, this is what you'll end up saying not long from now if you sign up. Is it going to work? I don't think I hear the audio.
Stuff, and I am so pleased. Such confidence to market, and I thought I was good at it before, but I wasn't at all, and and I'm enjoying it, and I made more money than I have ever in my 30 years of paintings.
It had 20. It had no. Shut up. It had nothing to do with whether or not she was good at it or not good at it before. She just was never doing it consistently, like no one else ever is, right? And so when she started doing it consistently and started doing it consistently all year long, then it completely changed everything. It's, you know. There's never any secret magical hack or trick. Surprise, surprise, right? It's just executing on the basics and doing it consistently.
Chip away at the iceberg, one day at a time.
One day at a time.
Okay.
As cliche as it sounds.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Pamela. The good news for you, though, is the fact that you got into those galleries shows your work's good. So despite the fact the gallery model will never work for you or anyone else for that matter, it's like sort of like winning the lottery. Do you know what it is? It's different than that. It is the number of people, okay, and we all grew up, right, and we all potentially played sports. I mean, some artists don't play sports, but let's just use that analogy. Contemplate your high school and where you grew up, okay? Contemplate all the people that played sports, and then go ahead and name for me anyone that you knew growing up that made it to the pros. That is the odds of an artist being successful in the gallery model. Not kidding. I've had so many conversations over the last year, and maybe one or two are like, oh, I'm really, really making it. I'm doing a great job. And even those ones, like, I'm like, okay, well, what are you at in gross sales? I did 150 last year. You did 150 last year? That's amazing. Congratulations. Was that at a 50-50 split? Yeah, it was. Okay, so you made $75,000 net last year. Is that what you're telling me? Yeah, it is. Did they pay for your supplies or your studio rental? No, they didn't. The gallery didn't. So now we're even lower than that. So what you're telling me is, despite the fact you're at a six-figure a year salary or mid six-figure or 150 a year in gross sales, that you're really making $60,000 a year? Well, I don't know how you're gonna fulfill your life dreams at that. You're just not. And I'm able to make a bunch of claims and comments now, like, I was always a smart ass and have like always done digital marketing, always been good at that. I've now been doing this long enough and I've talked to enough people that I feel like I can just call BS on just about anything. And the sheer number of people that have made it in the gallery model is no different than people that are playing pro sports. That's just what it is.
Yeah, my aha moment was somebody from Ukraine came into the gallery here in Salinas, and they said, that right there, I want to buy the original. I don't care. I want it, whatever it is. I say, I'm sorry, we don't have the original. They did not refer them to my prints that were there, and they didn't get any information on that customer.
Yep.
There's no way I could follow up and say,
even if they had it, they wouldn't give it to you. They wouldn't give it to you. Yeah. Yep. Yep. It's super bumming on some levels, and it's super awesome on others. And the reason it's super awesome is because your guys' industry at a macro is going through the Blockbuster Netflix moment, the Uber taxi cab moment. And so never has there been a better time to be an artist, a photographer selling direct, but it doesn't mean it's easy. I mean, there's never been a better time. Like, you got to keep all the income. You can sell direct worldwide, but you still have to get over those 3 to 5 years of marketing to build a significant business. And no one wants to talk about that. And anyone that doesn't want to talk about that is lying to you. There's no magical formula or course or 3-step plan or hack to Facebook ads. It is a grind. But if you do the grind and you do it consistently, year after year after year, your business starts growing, and you're actually building something that can provide and produce the level of income that you're aspiring to. And that's exciting. So,
and the first rule is know who your client is.
Yeah.
Know exactly who they are.
Yep. And if you don't know who they are,
and if you can't figure that out because the gallery won't give you that information, then yeah, you're dead in the water.
You're dead in the water.
You got to target. So,
yeah.
What do you think about Backpage Facebook, for businesses and their data collection?
What do you mean? Is like, I think Facebook and Instagram and the information that they have on all of us is insanely effective. I think once you reach a certain level of sales, it's important that every single solitary artist, every photographer is consistently running Facebook and Instagram ads, at least as it applies right now. That might change later. There's constant tumult and chaos in social media land, but yeah, they're way too powerful. I say that as I'm streaming on their platform for free. They're way too powerful, but you have to be contrarian and unemotional about these things. You have to sit there and say, I'm actually just a fisherman. And it turns out, if you're a fisherman, you drive the boat to where the fish are. That's how you win. It's where the fish are.
Yeah. So, what are the most effective attention-grabbing reels? Like, what have you seen that is really effective?
Early on, all you have to worry about is doing them consistently. And you'll find out the best ones for you.
As I can be.
It's so easy because, asking that question means you haven't spent enough time just on the platform looking at them, right? And so, whether, just be a consumer and just go through and see what catches your eye, and then make a note like, oh, that was really interesting, or this one was, or that one was. And obviously I follow a bunch of artists on here because it's the Art Storefronts account and it's easy, but you can just as easily go in and search whatever you want, any hashtag that you want, right? Like abstract art, there's one. And what this does is this gives you the search engine, and now I'm into a Reels feed of abstract art. This is my jam, and I can just go. Of course, they show a Chopin. Now I can just go down through this one and be like, what really, really catches my attention? And I think, as creatives, you guys, when you go into this sandbox and you just start watching, and you're like, what are the ones that are really like catching my eye, that are interesting, that could potentially work for me? And you start doing some of those, and then you start posting them consistently, and you're like, okay, this is the one that my audience is telling me is a home run. I need to do more of these. And it's just really, really early days. The important takeaway with Instagram Reels, without going like too in depth into the history, although I love going into the history, is that Instagram right now is in a knockdown, drag out fight with these guys, with TikTok. And as such, they've shifted the pendulum of power back to us. What does that mean? If I was going to follow Pamela on Instagram and Pamela had 100 followers, some small portion of her followers would see anything that she'd post, but no one else would. No one else would. You have to build more followers to even get access to their attention. With Instagram Reels, they show your material to people that are not following you. And I use Kelly as an example. My kid's running around. He's homesick today. you could see she's got 4,000, 3,000, 3,000 views on these, and she only has 6,700 followers. How is that possible? That's possible because Instagram is taking her content and it's going and showing it to people that do not follow her. So there exists a moment in time with this product right now why Instagram is trying to kill TikTok and TikTok is trying to kill Instagram, that if you're giving the beast what it wants, it will take you further and further and further. So don't overthink it. Consume first, write notes, produce.
Got it.
Don't stop for a year.
I can do that.
Yeah. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. But you should check us out too, Pamela. We could help you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah, my pleasure. Okay. Hope, you're up next. Go ahead, Hope.
Hey.
Hey.
Thanks. All right. I have a question about Reels.
Okay.
So I follow like a ton of artists on Instagram, not posting a lot right now, but I follow a lot of people and I know what grabs me, but I'm an artist. So what I'm seeing is most of the artists I follow post Reels that are appealing to other artists.
Yes.
They're either, a lot of tutorials or not just behind the scenes, like that would be interesting to a collector, but to like somebody who's trying to figure out how to do it. And I'm thinking, is there a big difference between creating Reels for that, to reach your audience of collectors versus to build your following of other artists who are basically, following you to copy
yeah. Very, very good question. And it's so funny because this is like an endemic problem in the art/photography community, which is I have a ton of followers on Instagram and Facebook, but they're all photographers or they're all artists, right? Because you guys just tend to follow one another like crazy, which is funny. So that's an issue in and of itself, but there are layers to this particular question, okay? In layer number one, and this is so important to talk about, and no one really understands it, or no one ever talks about it at a high level, but when you see a product, and you're like, ooh, that product's really interesting, or maybe you saw one of your friend's house, or maybe you saw it on TV, or maybe someone was telling you it's awesome. The credit check that we run for that product is when we go onto Amazon and we read the reviews, right? Or we Google reviews about the product, and that's giving us like the secondary buying signal that, okay, this is indeed something that I want, and something that will be helpful. And for artists and photographers, it's Instagram, meaning I get sucked into Hope's ecosystem, however I do, wherever I saw her, wherever she was doing, whatever she was doing. I instantaneously hit your Instagram profile, and what I want to see, and I'm going to hit your feed first, what I want to see is, one, excuse me, what does the profile photo look like? Is it in focus? Is it a high-quality photo? What is the follower count? Is there a decent bio with links? And then I go into the post makeup, and do I see a mixed bag in here of posts? A little bit the artist sharing themselves, a little bit the artist holding their merchandise, a little bit of the artwork itself, a little bit them just being them. And the overall post makeup there is critically, critically important, okay? And then also, are there story highlights where they're talking about their thing? And essentially what I want to see is I want some validation that this is indeed an artist on the up and up, an artist that's actually doing things. It is critically important that you pass that minimum credibility barrier on Instagram, okay? It's really, really important. Instagram is the number one platform, most important platform that influences art sales. Once you get that done, you definitely don't want to just post stuff that's going to attract artists and photographers, right? Holding your product, talking about your product, showing your work in process, and just generally being creative and cool and you. And once you do that, then you do that consistently. Notice a consistent theme for me, consistency. You'll start drawing the right kind of people into your ecosystem.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, I have one other thing though. You said they'll see like how cool your work is and how cool you are, and I'm just afraid I'm not cool enough.
Oh, Hope, you are plenty cool enough. I can hear it in your voice.
No, but seriously, my work tends to appeal to, people in their 20s, 30s, definitely a younger demographic.
How do you know?
Bright,
is that
colorful.
Is that who's buying it?
Sadly, I don't know who's buying my art because I'm not selling it directly to them.
Yep. You're selling through a gallery or a marketplace or something?
I've licensed my work to like Home Goods and, the things like that.
So you think you know who's buying your work, Hope, but you don't know who's buying your work.
Put it this way, like the price point where my work is selling would appeal, like it, I'm selling at a low price point right now. So I'm assuming, collectors who are buying, $10,000 pieces are not buying my prints that are, selling for about $80 to $100.
Yep, understood.
So, I'm assuming, and, just the look of my art, it's very colorful. It's like very loud.
Yeah, you need to be selling direct. Licensing's never going to work. I mean, it might bring you a paycheck here or there, but
100% know that.
Yeah.
It's, it's just been easy.
Yeah.
So, but in terms of reels, I have some concern about getting on and being me, because I'm thinking like,
yeah, you got to get over that. I'm telling you got to get over that. Got to get over it.
You don't know. I mean, it's not like I'm ashamed or like afraid. I'm just like, with me, I'm, not 20 or 30.
Yeah, that's okay.
So,
that's okay. I'm telling you, I've got
like
people in their
somebody
50s,
who's
60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Not kidding. Had a guy sign up 2 weeks ago in his 90s, going for it.
No, I mean, it's awesome. And I intend to be selling work in my 90s. Still quite a ways away.
Yeah.
But, but like I am probably the age of most of my customers' parents. Will that be like a turnoff to see like
no,
the mom, like,
no, not in the slightest. No. Double no.
Okay. I'm trusting you on this.
Trust me on this.
All right. And you say
all of those pangs of self-doubt, you can just go ahead and leave on my plate. I am taking it off of your plate. You need not worry about it ever again. That is gone. It's done. You just be you, be creative, and people are going to get drawn into your ecosystem if you put yourself out there.
Okay. All right. And you've said you've done you've got a post on YouTube on like more deep dive on reels.
Oh yeah. I've been talking about it like incessantly nonstop, and I'm going to continue talking about it incessantly nonstop. It represents certainly the second most interesting thing to happen in the last couple of months. First one, Elon Musk buying Twitter going public. Going public to private, if that goes through, that's super interesting, but not a good platform to market art. But the second is without question Instagram Reels. It's interesting, because now you're gonna make me go into my history lesson here, Hope, but I will do it. Okay. 7 or 8 years ago, Zuckerberg had Facebook. He had Instagram. He was humming along. He was the dominant gorilla. He was just winning every level. All of a sudden, this new upstart came along and started siphoning off all the younger users, and it was called Snapchat. And Snapchat had this new killer feature, and Snapchat's new killer feature was this thing called Stories. And Zuckerberg is like, guys, we're getting killed here. We gotta go and buy Snapchat. What do you think? Everyone's like, oh yeah, go and buy them. So he goes to Snapchat and he's like, hey, I'm going to give you guys $3 billion plus some Facebook stock, in cash. And why don't you just be a part of us? And they're like, pound sand, we're not doing it. And then he went home and he was really angry for a minute. And then he's like, wait a minute, I'll just copy their feature verbatim. And you know what he did? He copied their feature verbatim. And the feature just became, Instagram stories, right? And so he just copied it verbatim. And that was like a really seriously powerful learning moment in social media world, because everyone took notice. Now, call it 6 or 7 or 8, how many, 8, 7 years, 6 years, something like that. 5 years, 6 years later, a new upstart emerges. It's called TikTok. And this one, actually, full disclosure, because I don't want anyone calling me out on what I know. Zuckerberg did try to buy TikTok. I think it was when it was Musical.ly, but that's not because of any of the features. He tried to buy it because he wanted to use it as a foothold to get into China when Facebook was banned. But anyway, that aside, TikTok came out and made this new amazing feature, and it's incredible, right? And it is this new short form vertical video, snappy length, including music, and it just started eating their lunch. And what did he do? He's like, I learned my lesson. It's not going to cost me $3 billion. It's going to cost me a couple $1 million in developers to copy it verbatim. And so what did he do? TikTok came out with this fancy format, and he just copied them.
So here is yet.
He just copied them. Use this. He just copied them verbatim, and now we have Instagram Reels. Not to be left out of the party, though. Who else did? You ever seen YouTube Shorts? If I
Oh, yeah.
showed you,
Yes,
if
very
I
vanilla.
showed you the three of these things all next to one another, you could barely even tell which one is which. They've copied each other so verbatim. In the takeaway, sort of the larger picture takeaway on all of it is that it's the new television for the next generation. Television is going to die with us old folks that grew up on it. Never coming back, not in the traditional fashion. These kids these days and everyone up, and you know anyone else they can get out of the 30s generation, the 40s generation, the 50s, the 60s, they're just doing this now. This is what they do. When they sit on the couch, they are thumbing mindlessly through these things. And so once you realize that, you realize, okay, I've got to get good at storytelling in that capacity, and you get after it. You know, you start doing it.
Yeah. And they built these apps to be so addictive.
Oh, yes, they did. Very effectively.
Great if you want to sell something.
Yes, it is.
Using it.
Yes, it is.
But not great, if you never get any art done because you're sucked into TikTok.
Correct. You get on there, watch a couple to get ideas, and then go create some. And they really do offer like an incredible opportunity for growth right now, and they're amazing.
All right, awesome. Well, listen, thanks so much for your answers on that. It's really helpful.
My pleasure. That's what we're here for.
All right.
Okay. All right. I feel like I've talked myself into circles. Unless anyone has any last minute questions, I will send you guys all the video after this thing's done, and you can rewatch the video if you're so inclined, or you can look at any of the resources that are in there. I should say that, the whole reason we have this webinar is so that you guys can come on. I mean, you get all the damn emails from us. You saw a Facebook ad, you clicked and you came on and you're like, do these people know what the hell they're talking about? And that was the whole point of today's video, to try to establish some credibility that we might know what we're talking about. If you are in that camp, these guys might know what they're talking about. You should definitely go and get a demo. A demo is like 1 hour Zoom session, one-on-one, where they guide you through all the bells, whistles, ins, outs, pricing, plans, packages, of our product, everything from top to bottom. And we're having a huge pre-summer sale right now, so there's a crazy deal to get. So that's what I would say. For the rest of you, if you just found out about us and you're like, okay, I'm still doing my homework, I'm still trying to figure this all out, would definitely subscribe to the podcast. It's Art Marketing Podcast. You can find it anywhere, and listen to some of those episodes, or subscribe on YouTube, putting out a ton of our very, very best stuff on there, which is really, really cool. And just as a little Reels teaser final, okay, what I would say is, and this is a really, really cool way to do things, you can go in on Reels. Now, of course, chicken and the egg again. You had to have made a reel before for this to work, okay? But this is a really powerful feature. You can go into Reels, and let me get one here. I'll get this one. Oh no, I just came out of it. Hold on, I'll be back. I'll use her. And you go into the comments, okay? And you can see there's people that are saying, "Way to go, ASF. Who is he?" If you hit reply on one of these, okay, it gives you the normal type box, right, where you would do a reply, or you get this little blue photo button. And what this does is it's giving you the opportunity to reply via video, okay, as a comment to the reel. And so this is a really, really cool way to make content and have it be really, really easy, right? So you can see I did, 20 art marketing questions, 20 answers, and you're able to take their question and put it on the reel and then answer it, right? So you can see I did a bunch of these. And what's so interesting about this, and Ivana, will you post that YouTube link again that I sent, that I asked you to track down for me? This is insanely powerful for you guys, okay? Whether or not you know it, insanely powerful, because one of the things that you guys are terrible about is taking a scenario that where somebody is sending you a buying signal and turning it into a sales conversation, okay? Artists are terrible at this. So I'm going to give you for instance, an example. You post a reel, okay? And you get what is known as a buying question, something along the lines of, "You are so insanely talented, you should sell this. Look at this work. I really, really love it. What an amazing piece. I would love to have one. What an incredible talent you are." Along those lines. All you have to do if you get one of those, okay, is you just come right in again. And let's just say this was the buying question. Hit reply. Hit that little thing there. And be like, "Great advice, da-da-da-da-da." Leave them a comment. Not only, well, thank you so much for the kind words. I just wanted to let you know that piece is for sale. I normally sell it for $450, but I want to get rid of it. Make me an offer. All you have to do is send me a DM or leave me a comment below. Or You know, everything in my site is for sale. Oh, you love the work? It's all for sale. Which one would you like? I'm trying to get rid of them. Okay. When you have these opportunities that come up, this is one of the powerful things about this. Not only can you transition what are called buying questions to a selling scenario, everyone else will end up seeing it. Do you have any idea how insanely powerful that is? So case in point, okay, because I eat my own dog food around here, all right? I don't ever teach my customers to do anything I myself am not doing. Look at this. Start marketing questions, 20 answers. All week long I've been encouraging my customers to start making these reels because they're insanely effective. So how does it work? All you have to do is watch this reel, leave a comment down below. Okay, so that's what I asked people to do. And then here it is. I posted 10 responses so far, right? And I did most of these today and or yesterday, and so they're still spinning up. But that's thousands and thousands and thousands of views answering individual people's questions. Super, super powerful. That not a thing that most people are doing just yet. Highly recommend all of you do it. All right, that's where I'm leaving it. I think we've covered some good ground though. I appreciate you guys all sticking with me till the very end. Hope you found the session enjoyable. I will email you the replay in short order. I hope you guys all get going on Reels, and hope to see it on either the inside or in a future session, or, you know, I'm going live all the time. Leave me a comment. Come say hi on Instagram or Facebook or any of them. Thanks, you guys. Have a great rest of your day.